when I originally moved to North Carolina, I lived in Raleigh first, and I worked for Scott Crawford, who's a fucking baller.
Yeah.
I mean, straight up baller. For a short period of time, I worked for Scott Crawford for like 4 months, and that like changed my view on a lot of things. It was a very influential experience for me, and he's very true to his menu is dictated by whatever's in season.
Right.
Like whatever's on his menu is whatever you can get at the farmer's market. His CDC was always going to the farmer's market. That's what we put. That's what we were cooking. So for me, that was the first time I really saw that. I also worked for Andrea Rusing, who was very strict on like almost to a fault sometimes supporting farmers. Like she would we would buy sometimes. That was the first time I was ever in a meeting where we had a conversation about how many cows we were going to kill for a year. I was like, that's cool. So it doesn't come in a box. I don't know how many fucking cows we need for the year. I have no idea, you know? But that was an eye-opening experience for me. But I think, Raleigh does a better job of being more, I guess, agriculture-driven in the industry than Charlotte. Charlotte's a bit more commercial. You have a lot of, like, big-money restaurants, highly funded restaurants because it's a huge financial district, right? So it lacks that, like, chef-driven, agriculture-driven scene. So for me, my goal would be to shed more light on that, right? So to pay attention to what's growing locally and focus on that and drive my menus based off of that, because it's sad that the agriculture scene is so advanced and the restaurant scene is so behind.
We are recording an episode of Pancon Podcast. I am Nick Jimenez, joined by 8th grade basketball MVP, award-winning Elvis impersonating Santa Claus, chili cook-off champion, and alleged chef
I
Michael.
wish we stick with true facts. Like the first two are actually
It's
real.
like that thing where you got to figure out which one is the fake one,
I like
That's
the
good.
alleged chef part.
Yeah. Alleged chef.
Alleged chef.
Michael Beltrán, and we are joined since Michael's a Cadillac king. I feel like we need to give Andrés Kaifer a royal title, so we'll call him the Earl of Eggplant Emojis.
He has for sure been planning that. You planned that. You didn't just come up with that.
I came up with it while I was setting up all this stuff. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm going to be the Acura Archduke,
Yeah. You ever seen that concept, Earl of Sandwich?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I've eaten at him.
How is that?
It's fine. Well, I had it at an airport. I don't know how similar.
But I've never seen it anywhere not at a rest stop or at an airport.
Only rest stop is where I've seen it.
Only rest stops.
On the way to Orlando.
But it's always next to a Wendy's. And if you're playing that game, which one to go to?
Or the cinnamon roll place.
Cinnabon?
Yeah.
Yeah, they, at the rest stop that I just saw, they were definitely they were the loser there. It was KFC, Wendy's, Dunkin' Donuts, Earl of Sandwich.
I mean, why even look?
Right. We really started this off on the right foot.
Yeah.
Can we talk about fast food?
Of course, we can
It's
talk
been
about
a running topic in my life for the last 2 weeks.
I feel like there should be
Top five.
tell people who we're talking to.
All right, Andres Kaifer, everyone. So, who are you?
Who is this guy?
So good.
I don't remember how we became friends.
It's the best story ever. Neither do I.
You don't either, right? I don't remember how we became
I
friends.
love it. It's the best story ever. Neither do I.
I don't really remember how we became friends. I know that you were a friend of a very good friend of mine, Veronica Valdivia, which is now the director of food and beverage for Ariat Hospitality Group. And she loved you, and I was like, I don't know, he looks so-so.
I mean, I can tell you where we met for the first time.
Where did we meet?
It was a coffee. What's the name of this coffee place in Coral Gables?
Oh, I interviewed you.
You interviewed me for a job. This was pre-Ariat.
Wow.
Yeah. Job interview that I ended up not taking because you told me not to.
Right.
We were texting about it after, and I was like, cool. And then we just kind of stayed in touch. And then I started eating at your restaurant often.
Right.
And then
That's how we met.
And then you just consistently flirted with me every time I saw you.
Yeah.
So it got real weird.
What's the eggplant emojis?
Exactly.
It's really the eggplant emojis that really get me going.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been friends. You got married here.
I did.
You got married here.
I did.
Yeah, you got married here.
Before the star.
Before the star. Way before the star. Before COVID.
Before COVID, yeah.
Yeah, and everything. And then you moved. We became friends, then you moved.
Yeah, and then you hated me.
Yeah, for sure I did. Yeah. Well, I mean, so just a little bit of context. From Miami.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then you were the executive sous chef of Beaker and Gray.
Correct.
That was your last stint. And then you left Miami and you worked somewhere that doesn't matter. And then you worked at Crawford and Sons.
Yes.
That does matter.
Matters a lot.
Which I still think is probably one of the better restaurants in the country.
Yeah, one of the most influential experiences in my career too. So there's that. But
and then from there, you worked at some smokehouse, and then you opened up your first restaurant.
Correct.
Well, it's interesting how you went about the first restaurant, right? Like you bought majority out from a guy that was running it poorly, and then you made it better, and then you completely bought him out.
Correct.
Cool. So custom shop in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Charlotte,
North Kakalaki.
Charlotte, North Carolina. So we did a dinner there.
We did.
When?
September.
Man, that thing hurt. That dinner hurt.
It still hurts.
Yeah, it still hurts.
It still hurts a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a good experience.
Yeah.
For you, I thought it was a good experience.
Oh, yeah.
For me, I thought it was a good experience too. Just going into like a different kind of like I would say restaurant demographic, understanding like where people are service-wise, food-wise.
Yeah. You mean different world?
Yeah, it was a completely different world.
Yeah, not even close to like what you guys do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we weren't trying to do what we do there. We were just trying to, because you had taken over like what, 2 months before that? 3 months?
About 2.5 to be exact. But yeah.
What are some of the things from that like dinner that stuck out to you?
Oh man. Spacing out seating would be one. Calling your friend originally and getting his fancy graph for Expo prior to the dinner.
Oh, the graph.
Yeah, the graph.
I didn't give you a graph.
You emailed it to me after the dinner.
Oh, sorry.
After I crumbled and failed on Expo miserably. And you were like, in the middle of service going down in flames, these ticket things, like, just remind me, I'll email you the chart I used. So I was like, oh, great. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, the chart.
Relax, bro. Nick is currently like breathing heavily on me.
I mean, and I would say, I don't even hear him breathing heavily. I would say the thing that impacted me the most about that dinner was understanding that it was a great time because it was you and Chef Chris, and both of you are awesome, and we had a good time doing it. It was fun being in the kitchen together and all that. I think it was an eye-opening experience for my staff to see the level of focus and just the overall seriousness that goes on during service, because I don't think any of them had ever seen how serious service should be, and now that's shifted in my restaurant where like lineups are sacred, service is sacred. There is no more, I can curse on this thing, right?
What?
I'm just saying, there's no more fucking around during service, no more dicking around during service. Yeah. Fuckery has been 86 between the hours of 5 and 10.
Thanks to our sponsor, Aganorsa Leaf Cigars.
Aganorsa Leaf is renowned throughout the world for its signature flavor that possesses all the great attributes of Nicaraguan terroir, along with classic Cuban aroma and flavor.
Aganorsa Leaf is pleased to announce a brand new edition of Guardian of the Farm, Cerberus, named after the mythical three-headed hound that stood watch at the gates of Hades. This exciting new Nicaraguan puro uses 100% Aganorsa leaf tobacco and is wrapped in Aganorsa's new Corojo 2012 cover leaf, which adds a level of complexity to the blend, adding light spice and a rich, smooth body to the blend.
When you smoke one of our world-class blends, you will experience the difference between ordinary tobacco and Aganorsa leaf. That's why we say our leaf is our strength. Learn more about Aganorsa leaf and use their store locator and find a cigar shop near you that carries their products at www.aganorsaleaf.com.
The two of us smoke Aganorsa leaf cigars often. We also offer them to a lot of our guests, like, for example, Dave Arvello, who every time I post a picture of a Cerberus mentions to me in my DMs or in a text how cool the band is, which it actually is a pretty slick-looking band. But also, I just want to note, little personal anecdote here, so it's not all totally straight-up red. I can say that Michael Beltrán will absolutely not only vouch for the quality of Aganorsa cigars, but but you met a Miami legend and handed him an Aganorsa cigar.
I did meet a Miami legend. I was smoking nearby Alonzo Mourning, and we had a conversation about cigars, and he handed me one of his, and I went inside. I bought this exact same cigar, and I handed Alonzo Mourning this Aganorsa cigar, and I said, try this. Thank me later.
I mean, if that's not an endorsement, I don't know what is. AganorsaLeaf.com.
Introducing the newest line from Drew Estate Cigars. 20 Acre Farm is a complex, refined, and medium body cigar with a super oaky and cedary notes accompanied by a whisper of white pepper and a bright hint of citrus. Built at La Gran Fabrica, Drew Estate in Nicaragua, using a velvety, and I mean velvety, Ecuadorian Connecticut shade grown wrapper.
Under that wrapper is a sun-grown Habano binder and a filler blend of Nicaraguan tobaccos from Esteli and Jalapa in perfect balance with the opulent and majestic Florida sun-grown leaf. Florida sun-grown is also the name of the farm where that tobacco is lovingly grown and harvested by Jeff Borshoix, who's the guy you see in this video playing behind us, on his pristine 20-acre plot of land near the central Florida town of Claremont. I have actually been to that farm, along with plenty of other cigar tobacco farms in Mexico, Central America, and the Dominican Republic. And what Jeff, who by the way is a very nice guy, there's actually a cigar box signed by Jeff hanging on my wall. What Jeff is doing there is super legit. So it's always cool to see products like his, which is the only premium cigar tobacco grown in Florida, in products from a company like Drew Estate.
Plus, 20 Acre Farm being a Drew Estate product means it's the creation of master blender and Pan Con podcast guest Willie Herrera. Support our guests and sponsors. Get it online. Ask your local cigar shop about 20 Acre Farm by Drew Estate. Learn more about Drew Estate and use their store locator to find a cigar shop near you that carries their products at drewestate.com.
That's right. I'm probably going to smoke one of those right now.
What are we waiting for?
Fuckery can happen at other times. It's fine. Don't care. But as long as it doesn't affect our execution. But
Sure.
Completely shifted. So it was really important for my staff to be able to see, and that's that it was just you and Chris, you know, but to see you guys operate at that level, the way you guys communicated with each other during service, and just overall, you know, I don't even know how to explain it. It's just like the overall like mentality and everything that was going on was just totally different. We were nowhere near that, you know, in terms of how far we had already come in a couple months.
Yeah, I thought it was a great crash course for them.
Whew. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
You know, and it was just me and Chris, but like Chris comes from, I mean, obviously Chris Hughesby, chef of the Gibson Pan Con Podcast Hall of Famer. He's done 2 of these now.
Yeah.
You know, Chris has seen like really exceptional services and really bad services.
Yeah.
And he's also been part of like exceptional tastings and events and ones that didn't go so well. Yeah. So like, I think we really like, we definitely cross the T's, dot the I's when we do all those things. Especially when we're going out of state. We've done like quite a few out of state events now. And I think that,
Oh man, that's awesome.
yeah. And I think that
Hand signals. That's good. Wow.
I think that, you know, after some time, like you kind of get into a rhythm. That's also why I started implementing the collaboration series at the Gibson, because Chris's team is so young, and I think the restaurant is so young, and also that space wasn't known for super delicious food and like good service and good cocktails, that just doing it once a month reminds the world, or just kind of like cements it, the fact that it is a great bar, but it is also a great restaurant.
Right.
You know, and I think doing events like that for you in the future not only like lets you kind of, you know, stretch your legs a little bit, but it also, you learn every single time in the process, maybe like what other people do that you can learn from. Like every time, you know, when we did the collab dinner with Aaron Brooks, like Aaron is a fucking pro. Mm-hmm. Like he is a legend. And like those kids being able to work with him and work around him and just kind of like being able to talk to him, and his food was delicious, and the way he came prepared was like just like really spot on. Seeing stuff like that really it's like something in their brain that they're always going to remember. So for your staff, I hope it was kind of the same.
Yeah, I mean it was a game changer for all of them, you know? Like Mo was I mean, and I don't know if you saw it during service, but at some point you were like, hey, you need to get the fuck off of that station and just let her do her thing. She's fine, and you need to get on Expo, you know? And every part of me was like, I don't know if she can handle it without me.
She could definitely handle it.
She crushed it.
Yeah.
Crushed it. She was running 2 stations, essentially, solo dolo, you know? And, I mean, that alone, you know, you could tell that she was feeding off of the energy and the vibe in the room and the focus, and she thrived in that environment. So it was cool to see that. And it's been a whole lot of that ever since that dinner. So, I mean, again, you know, and I sent you a long, super fucking eggplant-filled text.
Lots of eggplants.
After that, but, you know, I don't think you can put any value to the experience that dinner left for that restaurant.
Right.
You know, and that's that only 2 of you were here.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way. Like when Ryan came down here and we did dinner at Ariette, like Ryan and his team they're pros, and they're just like genuinely good humans. And I thought like that was very important for my team. This was pre-star to be able to work with a team that has 3 stars.
Yeah.
And, but also like they're very genuine. Like they're just like, they really care about great food.
I mean, it would be so cool if like she could just fishing line that in here.
Right.
That would be amazing. Just like,
can we work on that on top of the
Negroni drop in the middle of the podcast? Would be fantastic.
Super into it.
Yeah, just like along with the new.
I mean, I'm sure that I can find us a cheap actual fishing rod.
Oh,
and
man.
I can just from back here.
Yeah, this would be great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah, please.
You know, that experience, and we still talk about it, and Ryan and I were talking yesterday, we're doing another one in February.
Nice.
But like those things are huge.
Yeah.
Because you learn from other people, and you're able to bounce ideas off of people, and just like the overall culture of like really good people in kitchens or in restaurants in general, you know, it's great to feed off of. So I hope that they thought it was great that we were there.
Oh, yeah.
I know I was pretty edgy when I was there, but it was good.
I mean, I only had to ask you not to fire any of my staff 6 or 7 times. But it was fine. I mean, you were great.
Listen, you're my friend.
Yeah.
So like I'm gonna fight for the shit that's like good.
Yeah, no.
And when there's shit not good, I'm like, this is not good. This is not good. And a lot of it had to do with, you know, management that's no longer there, whatever things.
If you want to call it that.
Flow of things or whatever. And I just like, because I care and just because I have failed so many times, from my failure, I'm able to help the people I care about not fail the way that I did.
Right.
And sometimes you still will, you know, like, because you have to learn by like fire, right?
Yeah, I mean, and I think a lot of that comes from like slowly building and developing a team, you know, which is what I'm at the beginning stages of still right now. And, you know, we've made some changes, and, you know, some people have moved on to do other things that I think would be better suited for them. And we've made some changes in management, and like you can see the shift immediately, you know, with having a presence in the front of the house that cares as much as the presence in the back of the house is just like, I mean, it's huge.
Yeah, I mean, we've been together all day, so like I definitely see. We just recently had people who aren't watching, I'm just doing like a big, you know, of a space that like matters a lot to me that management left, that they left it in fucking disarray. And I think just the energy in the space is already better because that person wasn't fitting the bill.
Right.
And I think it's okay to say that, you know, when you're aware, and just kind of like attack and fix the problem.
Yeah.
But so many people want to like pussyfoot around like, you know, issues, just like attack the issue, fix the issue, and move on. You know, I think that we're pretty good at like attacking issues and like fixing them and moving on. So how many months has Custom Shop now been yours?
6.
6. And how's that been?
Good. I mean, it's been, right off the bat, it was probably one of the most stressful things I think I've ever done. When we first took over, I had all my projections when I had made the business purchase and all that stuff, ran all the numbers, and I was like, okay, this is where we need to be in order to make X amount of money and pay back investors X amount of money, including myself and whatnot, to be able to make money. And it's very different when, and this is something that resonated with me when you told me, but it's very different when it's your livelihood. You know? Not only that, when it's your ass on the fucking line if shit hits the fan, not just for you financially, but for the livelihood of everyone that works for you, which is a big deal for me, because like I have people that have kids that work for me. So, the restaurant being successful is not just about me, my name, my ego, whatever you want to say, or like, oh, we're the best restaurant in Charlotte, blah, 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 all that bullshit. It has nothing to, I mean, yes, I know. I can say that strongly.
Go on, say it,
but, I'll toot my own horn later. That's fine. But
yeah, I'll toot it for you.
The competition's not too aggressive there anyways, but still, coming from this city, it's like very different. But
Cumberbatch.
You have this thing where you can't remember the name of anything.
Memorable.
No, okay, but here's the thing.
Sucked.
But you don't remember the exact name of anything, but you remember the name that you choose to deem it every single time, which is really strange to me.
What is Cumberbatch actually?
Cumberbatch is it's actually a restaurant in bar called Crunkleton. Yeah. Now he remembers.
Yeah.
That's the best
Well,
part.
I just don't want to give him the credit of me saying that she was. But you know what's sad is that like we when Chris and I got there, Andres picked us up and we're like, we're just gonna go to dinner or whatever.
Well, he was like, what's open on Monday? And like North Carolina. Not a lot.
Yeah.
So
anyways,
limited options.
So we went to this place, but it looked super dope when you walk in.
I mean, it is dope.
Man,
it's dope.
Woof. It was just really fucking bad.
Chicken piccata, baby.
The chicken piccata was almost inedible.
Yeah.
I mean, everything was almost inedible.
Yeah. Cocktails were good.
The cocktails were good. The bar, like, the back bar was fucking amazing. So, anyways, but sorry, just what were you saying? Go on.
I mean, so a lot of stress, a lot of fear. I mean, fear would be the biggest thing, right? So, like, fear driven the entire time. Like,
fear is good.
Like, we had a leak for 2 months that I could not figure out for the life of me where the leak was. I was like, the walls are getting destroyed. All these bad things are happening. And it was just like the bane of my existence. Couldn't sleep. We finally got the leak fixed. And it's like, okay. But that leak for me was just such a fear-driven thing where I was like, okay, we just spent X amount of money buying this restaurant. Now we're going to have to spend X amount of money trying to solve this leak and everything else involved in it before even doing the renovation. So I was like, this is nuts, And for me, at that point, it's just like fear-consuming stress. And like, it's like the fear of the unknown, And now it's like, if something breaks, I don't give a shit about it. It's like, okay, we'll get it fixed. Like, it sucks. It's going to cost money, but it's business. Like, it is what it is.
Part of the thing.
But the biggest thing that was driving my fear was that I had ran all these numbers, and then my first 2 weeks at the restaurant, we broke maybe 16,000 in a week, and that wouldn't cut it. Let's just put it that way. That wouldn't even cut it to like pay me what I needed to make in order to like pay my bills at that time, and I was not in a position to not pay myself a certain amount of money because I had already set myself up to live my life a certain way. So for me, that was like extremely fearful and, just obsessing over the numbers, obsessing over open table, obsessing over the cover counts, the check average, all these things that when you're working for someone else who's paying all the bills, I mean, it's cool to know what it means and to be familiar with it, but it doesn't really matter. But when it's your life, it matters. Yeah. And like, so the respect I have now for anybody that owns their own restaurant and operates their own restaurant is tenfold compared to what it used to be, And that goes for people that I've worked very dearly with where, big things matter like everything. I mean, I don't have to fucking tell you, this, but still. So for me, that was the biggest thing was like grasping that and understanding that. And then, people would tell me, friends of mine would be like, why do you obsess so much about the cover count? I'm like, because it's, the fuck do you mean? Why do I obsess over it? Because if we're only doing 20 covers on a Tuesday, we're fucked. There's no sugarcoating that. Like, we can't afford to continue to stay open. And that's what we were doing. And that was scary to me because I made the purchase. I did all these things. And I was like, cool, I made a huge mistake. It was like milk was a bad choice. Is pretty much how I felt for like 2 months. And then it got better.
I think like when I look back at the 7 years that we've been doing this, the difference between me now and me back then was it kind of like sounds like what you're saying, which is I obsessed over everything, right? And it drove to some days like drove me fucking mad. And I feel terrible for the people that were around me every day because it was a dreadful version of me. But it was it's life. Yeah. It was very difficult to deal with. And on top of that, hey, I know you have all these other things to worry about, but you also have to put out great food. By the way, I know you have to also do this. Yeah. And you also have to manage people, and you also have to like order fish and order produce and order things and like operate the restaurant.
And have enough people to do the job.
Right. Now, like, it always seems like the world is burning down, but like I've been here before.
Yeah.
And it's basically what I tell people all the time. They're like, what do you think? I'm like, well, we're just going to have to fix it. I mean, I'm like, people are like, you're just so much more calm now. I'm like, no, I've just been through the fucking gauntlet. Like, I get it. This whole gauntlet of like, yeah, a piece of equipment's broken. Whatever. Okay. Yeah. Like, it happens. Yeah. We either fix it or we buy a new one.
All right.
You know, what does it take to operate? What does it take to do this? And I think a lot of it from the ownership side, and I think it's like precious you say that because there's so many people that don't quite understand the difference between working and running.
Oh yeah.
When you're running it and you own it, and it's like you don't just think about your own, and I mean you have like a wife, a rabbit, a dog. He does have a pet rabbit.
2 dogs. She's a bitch, by the way. Love her, but she's a bitch.
2 dogs. Like you have things, other people have things, and when you're the owner of especially just one location, you become vested in all these people, and you want them to be okay.
Yeah,
you know, you want everyone to be okay all the time, and sometimes your focus shifts away from just like your well-being to everyone's well-being, and it becomes like a really big foggy world for you because you're just trying to survive, trying to make everyone happy. And then sometimes you look back and you look at yourself and you're like, what day is it? What year are we in?
Right. Am I happy?
Well, I mean, you know, I think like happiness is perspective.
Yeah.
You know, when I look back at the last 7 years, I'm incredibly happy about what I've been through. But man, it was really rough. But that's okay. I mean, it takes that. First year of a restaurant's really tough. There's no doubt. Year 2 is also tough. I think you're fortunate because you have a name attached to you that was there previously. Even though I think you're going to build on it, and make it better. It still comes with something, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, and kudos to Trey, the former owner. Like, I mean, the restaurant's been open for 15 years, you know, and like for a restaurant to be open that long period, whether it was operating at this high of a level or not, like it's still a testament to the fact that it's stayed open. A business has been open that long, especially in this industry. So the foundation was, it didn't take much for me to get in there, improve a couple things, change a couple things to do it my way for people to be like, oh, this is great, you know? And like staple wise, it was there. People knew what it was. And then all it took was one article for people to understand that there was new ownership and getting it ready for another 10 years and not too difficult to build. And I can't imagine what starting, and I've been part of it, but not as an owner, have I ever been a part of like starting a brand where it's your name and all of that from scratch, which is wild.
Yeah, it could be dark.
I mean, dark, yeah, but I think you adapt and you change and you do what you can. I mean, Ariette, like Ariette, day one Ariette compared to what Ariette is now. Holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, holy shit.
So tell me about the food at Customshop now.
I mean, funny you ask. So something that resonated with me heavily when you were there, when you ate, obviously, you know, you loved some things and other things you didn't necessarily love, but you didn't hate, which was great. But you told me, you're like, you know, you need to start to really hone in here. You need to be yourself.
Right.
And I think, part of it is like, there was a lot of safety for me at first, because there's things I had done in my career in the past that I could do again that I knew would work, that I knew people would like, that I knew would be different from what we had been doing at that restaurant or what they had been doing at that restaurant that would be successful, at least. But I haven't gotten funky with it yet. I also haven't had time to get funky with it. Because for me...
Right. Time is it becomes so precious.
Yeah, I mean, if it was up to me, I would love to just sit there like a mad scientist all day and mess around with food and come up with the funkiest food of all time and put it on the menu and be great and be myself and express myself through my food and all that. But as a business owner and you being there, understanding the situation that was going on in the front of the house of that restaurant for a while, there was a lot of changes that need to happen. There was a lot of things that were falling on my plate as an owner, not as a chef, that I needed to address. And like for me, the safety on the food was easy, but it was the right decision at the time to be safe at that time. Now, I have a partner, I have a manager who I can trust, who I can turn my back to, and I know that things are going to happen in the front of the house, and I can really start to like hone in on the food. So we've just now started to make some changes to the food, like the deco's gone. You'll be proud.
I love that.
Little things like that, and it takes pushback because the thing about Customshop is that like front of the house people have been there for, like Zoe's been there for 7 years.
I noticed.
Yeah. And like it's old habits die hard and change freaks everybody out. So
I love that though.
Yeah.
I love change.
I love change too, but it freaks them out. It's like we're taking off the deco and people are like, that's like my safe play when someone's like, I'm a meat and potatoes guy.
Right.
And it's like,
that's what they
cool.
sound like too. That's what they sound like.
Can we get that one more time?
I'm a meat and potatoes guy. That didn't even sound southern enough, but whatever. Anyways, so
you did your best.
I tried.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, really now just starting to, we replaced the deco with like a 21-day dry aged strip, and it goes on top of like a seasonal like root veg puree right now because all you can get right now is root veg because it's cold as shit.
Yeah, but that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, and chimichurri, and it's called chimichurri on the menu, which like you're gonna look at me and you're gonna be like, oh, okay, cool. Chimichurri, who gives a fuck? But
remember, I lived in Virginia, so I get it.
That's what I'm saying. Like chimichurri on a menu in North Carolina, it's like that's the start of like me starting to express myself, and like I'm, Miami born and raised and Spanish background, and my mom is born in Cuba, raised in Spain, and I'm all there is to be Hispanic, and there's not a whole lot of that in Charlotte, North Carolina. Like there's some of it, but not unapologetically.
Yeah, I remember when we were coming up with the menu for the collab over there. It's just hard for me not to be myself. So like, you were like telling me stuff, and I'm like, nah, I don't know. Nah, I don't like that. And he was like, what do you mean? I'm like, I don't know. That doesn't really sound like you at all.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, but nah, I don't know. And like, you're my friend. I'm gonna push you.
Yeah.
And I think the one safe place you have when you're an owner is like to be yourself.
Yeah.
Because you're not an owner, restaurateur, quote unquote operator like a lot of people like label themselves as. Mm-hmm. When they're really just like the suit and tie that's like the one that signs checks sometimes and whatever.
Sometimes.
Like you're a chef. Yeah. And the only safe space you have is the fact that you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Right.
Like that is the only place. And the reason why I talk about it so much, because I talk to people about this shit all the time, new restaurateurs, ones that have been in the business for a while, whatever, is like, sure, like short rib with like mushy potatoes under it with some kind of like dense sauce and stuff on top is going to sell a ton. But what does that say about you? And like when you go to sleep at night, do you feel okay with that?
Right.
Like for me, I don't. And the only thing I had was my food. I didn't have anything else. I didn't have a life. I didn't have like, I had to operate a business. I had to run a restaurant, and I had my food. And it's like, that's the only safe space I had. So I was super into it. And then when we got to a place, that area was like make or break. Like we could close any day.
Oh, I remember.
we would just like, we said, fuck it. We're gonna go. We're gonna do this. We're gonna go down in fucking flames, right? Like we're just gonna do whatever. And that, like, I feel like that day is when I really found out who I was food wise, because I said, fuck it. I'm just gonna I'm gonna do all the shit that I feel. And it was one of the most proud moments of my life. And it was also like, there he is.
Oh,
yeah, the peanut butter and jelly champion himself.
seriously.
Yeah. It was one of the times that I look back at the most, and just saying, like, when I think about food and they're like, well, maybe we should, because everyone has a fucking opinion, right? Like everyone has, well, you should do charred Brussels sprouts. Okay.
Fuck that.
Right. You should do,
by the way.
You should do carrots with tangine or whatever the fuck. What is it that everyone does? Tzatziki and carrots and
It's yogurt.
Yogurt, right? Yeah,
yogurt.
And carrots, and everyone does that too. Yeah. Like what? I don't know. I want to know who you are,
right?
And that's the only space you have as an owner chef, because everything else, like, numbers are numbers. 2 + 2 = 4, all around the world.
Yeah.
So that part, that is who you are. Restaurants, functionally, service-wise, operating-wise, are all kind of the same, right? You have a service station, people do service, whether you put new silverware down or whatever, that's up to you. Like that stuff is 101. But the food is so expressionary. Like, that is, so now I'm starting to get to know you, and that's when I feel, for me, like, I changed.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why when I've talked to you over the last 6 months, I've always just been like, what's new?
Yeah.
What's happening? What are you doing food-wise? Because all the other stuff I already know. Hardships and stuff, don't talk to me about them. I get it.
Right.
I like it. The other stuff, like that's going to be that small, like, sliver of, I guess, like, satisfaction you get amongst all the, like, trash and bullshit that you have to deal with. That's really important, because it's going to keep you going. It's going to keep pushing you forward. Like, it's going to propel you through all the bullshit.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah, stop being safe.
Yeah. Don't be a bitch about
I
it.
can tell you who I am, though. Parker House roll, foie gras mosaic, white chocolate.
That's never happened. That's never happened before. That's a
Man,
first.
that was fucking good. That was really fucking good.
So after 6 months, we do a collab dinner tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right. I think it's gonna be pretty good.
I mean, I'm pretty stoked. I'm excited about the menu. You know, I'm happy that I prepped a lot of that shit before I got here, which is fantastic.
Same. That's what we did when we went over there.
I mean, yeah, it was nice. It's nice seeing the role reversal, because when you guys came over here, I remember you guys showed up in the kitchen. I was like, oh, they're about to, like, go to, Prep Town USA. And you guys prepped like 3 things, and you were like, cool, we're going to go get a tattoo. We'll be back for dinner. And I was like, oh, all right, cool. What time works for you? I'm like, well, at this point, we're like doing 40 covers on a Wednesday. I'm like, whatever time, like, we have room, And they showed up late for the reservation, which is fine.
We did. We pushed back our reservation like 3 times.
It's fine, but we did great. So, but yeah, and I remember that, and I was like, oh, wow, that's nice, But, like, you showed up, like, prepared. Box full of goodies. A lot of goodies. A lot of ducks.
A lot of ducks. We did the duck there.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
That's like the most work that Flat Top's ever gotten.
I mean, that's debatable. I mean, that's the cleanest that Flat Top's ever gotten. That's for damn sure. But that's probably the most strokes from you that Flat Top has ever gotten.
It definitely did get stroked, for sure.
Yeah, hard.
Hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that, like, that dinner went pretty well, actually.
It did?
I mean, I thought our dishes were solid.
I mean, yeah, I thought your dishes were solid. I thought my paella was an embarrassment to Spain, and there was no fixing it at that moment. And I remember looking at it when we plated it for the first time, because, again, I spent so much of my time doing toast shit, getting all this other stuff ready for this dinner, and not focusing on the food, that by the time it came time to look at the paella, I was like, okay, this is a fucking atrocious paella. But it's okay. We're redeeming ourselves tomorrow. Well, you're redeeming us. So there's that.
So when we were talking about the dinner for here, I was like, I want to do paella. And he's like, fuck you. Of course you want to do paella. I'm like, yeah, of course I want to do it.
And all he hits me with is, just relax. Just relax. It's like, relax. Like, I know you. And you may not know you, but your subconscious is like, we're going to do paella the right way this time. Without a doubt.
I mean, we'll find out tomorrow, right?
I mean, I have my thoughts, but we're not going to talk about that right now.
It's totally fine. You can have your thoughts. What are your thoughts? Go on, tell me.
I just think we're crazy for trying to cook it to order, but whatever.
We used to make risotto to order.
That was at Cyprus.
Yeah, so? Cypress Kitchen was about the same size, minus a grill.
It's like a 35-minute pickup.
That's cool. It's the 4th course.
Oh, fair.
It's the 4th course.
Listen, I have faith in you, the grid, and the paella.
Oh, the grid is super hard.
I have faith.
Yeah, the grid is good. And then for Chuggies tomorrow, we're doing chicken nuggets.
I'm so stoked about those.
Yeah, chicken nuggets.
Yeah.
What else are we going to talk about?
I have no fucking idea.
Yeah. Nick, what do you got?
Yeah, what do you got, Nick?
Man, this is your. I'm shocked that you need help this early.
I mean, I don't need help. Listen, I'm just trying to.
I really think we should talk about fast food.
Yeah, he had things he came in and wanted to talk about.
It's just like, trends in my life lately. We've had a lot of discussions at the restaurant with friends as well about top 5 fast food. One thing that pisses me off is that some people think Chipotle is fast food. Get the fuck out of here.
It's not fast food.
It has to have a drive-through for it to be fast food.
Agreed.
That's the qualifier?
Yeah.
It has to have a drive-through, in my opinion. Like, for it to be fast food, you don't have to get the fuck out of the car.
Is McDonald's still fast food in a food court?
Wow.
I hate you. I hate you.
That was so good.
I hate you.
That was such a good Trump question right there. Like, he just trumped your whole argument.
No, yeah. I mean, well, yeah, sure. I mean, yeah. Roll up in my Chevrolet legs in the fucking food court. That's terrible. I hate you so much.
I mean, is Subway not fast food?
Well, there's Subways with a drive-through.
But
okay, but majority of Subways don't have a drive-through.
Fair.
So is it not fast food?
Okay, fast. You know what fast food is. We're not gonna have this argument. We're not gonna keep going into this argument. We know.
You brought up the argument.
You're fine, fair. But fast food is like McDonald's, Wendy's, Taco Bell. Go.
I honestly don't feel like Chipotle's fast food.
No, that's fast casual.
Yeah,
that's fast casual.
Is there something about the speed that's different? Because Chipotle is pretty fast. Yeah. If it's just speed,
but so is Jimmy John's.
Is Jimmy John's not fast food?
I don't consider Jimmy John's fast food. There's no drive-through.
Yeah, but that's their whole shtick, right? They get you a sub in 15 minutes or whatever the fuck.
It's actually freaky fast food.
It's freaky fast food.
15 minutes is a crock of shit. There's no way. Don't believe it.
Order Jimmy John's right now.
We don't have a budget for that.
No. I'm super.
I just bought this thing.
Yeah.
Top 5 fast food has to have a drive-through. Don't.
Fine. Listen, you're
fight me.
You're the guest.
Yeah.
So what is your top 5 fast food?
Yeah.
Was it that list you just ran through?
It's tough. No, I mean kind of.
And is for purposes of this, does it have to be national or can it be like a local or regional fast food?
I really hate you, Nick.
No. I'm not saying whether it's fast food or not, but like for purposes of the list, I mean, does Whataburger qualify? Even though
Whataburger qualifies.
Okay.
Yeah, national doesn't matter, but it doesn't have to be regional by any means. Okay. So for me, Chick-fil-A, even though you can't get it on Sundays, but whatever. Taco Bell. McDonald's.
Is this in order or no?
No, there's no particular order. I can't.
No, but give me an order. No, you got. If we're gonna go top 5, you have to give me an order.
All right, if we're going top 5, we're going order Taco Bell top for sure. The GOAT. I mean, there's just like no comparison.
Jimmy
Chick-fil-A
John's is
number
not
2.
available right now. I was definitely trying to order it.
Chick-fil-A second.
Okay. Chick-fil-A second?
Yeah. There's a lot of Chick-fil-A's in Charlotte, bro. And they're fantastic.
I don't really think Chick-fil-A is that good.
Are you kidding me?
I don't.
Do you think KFC is better than Chick-fil-A?
Yeah.
Is it
what?
Whoa.
I think Popeye's fried chicken sandwich is better than Chick-fil-A's.
Well, what do you think? More than Chick-fil-A? Chick-fil-A's alright. I think it's overrated.
That's my dog.
Oh my god. I think it's overrated.
I'm with him.
No wonder you love him.
No, I love him for a lot of reasons, but that's...
I mean, I'm pretty fucking awesome.
And
subtle.
there he is.
Yeah, it's super subtle.
I'm downloading the Jimmy John's app because I want to see how fast it'll get here.
Probably pretty fast.
I mean...
I love this could be... How often do you think Jimmy John's delivers to a Michelin-starred restaurant?
No, never.
That's a valid point.
Never.
Where was I? Chick-fil-A?
Yeah, you mentioned Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, Taco Bell. Taco Bell was your
Bell's the GOAT.
top of the chain.
Yeah, GOAT for sure.
That's very interesting to me.
I mean,
I'm with him though.
it's just for me. It's like there's the nostalgia there. Like
There's
when I
no
was
Jimmy
a-
John's by here. They won't do it.
That's a shame.
They won't do it.
I guess they're not that fast. But when I was young, I used to hit up Taco Bell all the time. It was a 24-hour Taco Bell right next to my mom's house. So I would crush Taco Bell all the time.
Sure, yeah.
Not sober by any means, but
Right,
crush.
I just ate Taco Bell 2 days ago.
You posted pictures of the sauce.
Yeah.
On your social. This is true. Man, I'm stumped on the rest of my list right now.
Oh, I thought you had one ready because you.
Yeah,
No,
I mean,
it's
you,
like- it's always been an
sounded
argument.
very like you were in it, like
No,
you
it's
had
always-
a top 5.
It's always been an argument. And
You have a
always-
top 5?
It fluctuates.
I've never thought of it that way. I would say Taco Bell is nowhere near the top for me. Maybe because I don't have that like nostalgia for it, and I don't like most. So I don't like sour cream. I don't like guac.
Wait, why don't you like sour cream?
It's like a texture thing. In sour cream's case, I don't like the flavor of sour cream either.
I mean, I don't really eat guac at Taco Bell.
Yeah, but like I'm just saying, like if I'm at a Taco Bell, I'm going like a pretty plain taco. Quesadillas, I like any of the cheese, but like the sauces that they put on shit. If I get a quesadilla, I get it without the cheese sauce, just cheese and the chicken or whatever the fuck I'm putting in there.
Wow.
So like the fact that me personally, I have to like ask them to hold
86
so
of
many
flavor?
things. Yeah. I'm a Wendy's guy.
I mean, see, Wendy's is in my top 5. Thank you for reminding me about Wendy's.
Yeah.
What do you mean? You have to be reminded about Wendy's? I think that like the reason why I go Taco Bell 1 is literally whoever invented the Crunchwrap Supreme is a legend.
Yeah, it's the best thing ever.
I mean, I'm also a fan of the chalupa when they actually like do it right. But it's funny that we bring this up
When they do it right.
because
and sorry, but I think it's interesting like how much can a single item move it up the list? Because I know for you,
yeah,
the Crunchwrap plays a big role. If the Crunchwrap was not a Taco Bell, how high up would it be?
but I will say I've eaten at Taco Bell 3 times in the last like I don't know, maybe 4 months, right? If anyone from Taco Bell is out there listening, be better. Be better. You're sitting on some of the best ideas in food history, and you guys are fucking it up. You're fucking it up. Like 100%
Jesus
that.
Christ, by the way.
What?
I mean, I was unaware that there was an unlimited Negroni fountain during the podcast.
So I'm just saying, like, you know, like the first time I had it, and it was like so, like, okay, that's fine. Second time, I'm like, you know, I'm pretty banged up. Like, it's passable. Third time, I'm like, fuck this. You guys need to be better. If anyone from Taco Bell is out there, you need to listen to this. You are about to fuck all of your shit up because you guys just aren't executing even somewhat well. Like, it used to be executed, like the Crunchwrap Supreme used to be like a thing. Now it's just fucking flubbery bullshit.
It's an afterthought.
It just is absolute fucking trash.
I love
It
how
used to
animated
be like this like crown jewel situation of a menu item. And now it's just like Crunchwrap Supreme.
Is that what you got when you posted that picture?
That's what I felt like.
No, but you had the Crunchwrap? That's what you did?
Yeah, listen, when you get a Crunchwrap, right? Like if you ever watched like
It comes with sour cream, by the way.
but if you
Right,
get
yeah,
the
if I
Crunchwrap,
got it,
it's
I would-
supposed to stand, you can eat it like that, right? When you get it,
Make sure you really look into that camera. For
when
that
you
one.
get it and it's like a limp
contact.
dick like this, it's just not working.
It's
fact that you-
Obviously.
the
if
fact
it's,
that
if
you
it's limp,
just
there's no crunch. I mean, that's,
used a limp dick
Yeah.
to I mean, I guess, yeah.
It just absolutely just like,
yeah, flaccid
that's not what a
suck.
Crunchwrap Supreme is. And like, I'm sorry to tell you, you guys have really, you have thought of and put together one of the like engineering genius when it comes to food.
I mean, yes, yeah.
And you're absolutely fucking it up. Like you were just so Taco Bell, if you're out there, you
I'm just saying, I think
be better.
Bancon Podcast should have a sub-side YouTube series of you ripping fucking Taco Bell people to shreds like Gordon Ramsay. It would be fantastic.
I should also, I forget what episode it was, but you've also done this with Domino's. You had Domino's issues.
Yeah, but like honestly, if we were to say the consistency issues of like Domino's,
Is Domino's fast food? Do we put pizza into the fast food category?
I mean, I think Domino's is fast food.
I
I
think,
fucking love Domino's.
I think
Domino's is the best fast food.
by far the
pizza.
best pizza you can get.
although you can't get it, in terms of what is fast, like
Right.
you can't get a Domino's pizza or any
Well, I
of those
guess we
pizzas
would have
as
to
fast.
go to a Domino's and
Yeah.
order the Domino's and see how fast they give us.
Can I
pizza.
tell you I know exactly how fast
Yes.
it is? And did I tell you about what I've been up to lately?
Is there a button for this? Because I just
Should I give myself the horn? Is that or are you trying to mute me?
No, I'm not trying to mute you. I want like
Here,
some
I'm
kind
gonna
of
give air horn here.
Can't hear it at all.
Yeah, you can't hear it.
We can't hear it.
Yeah, I know you can't hear it, but
just
I'm
pretend
giving
like
it to
you can
myself. All right. So Domino's Pizza has I don't know if this varies region to region, market to market, but if you do their car side delivery option, at least in my neck of the woods, I don't know if you're familiar.
Curbside is what you mean?
They call it car side, but yeah, basically curbside delivery. Right. So you order for takeout, and their whole thing is that they'll bring it to your car if you put that option when you place the order. You know the Domino's tracker, like when you order a pizza.
I love that. I always talk to them on the tracker.
So if you do the if you do the tracker when you order for pickup, including for car side delivery, it will tell you when the pizza is ready for pickup, as opposed to it's at your door.
Heard.
When you do this, they have this guarantee. When you do the car side delivery, you're supposed to park, turn your blinkers on, and tap "I'm here," and then they know to bring your pizza out. The deal is if you tap "I'm here," and from the time that the pizza is ready to the time that they're on their way to your car is more than 2 minutes, your next pizza's free.
Your next pizza's free?
Your next pizza's free, correct.
Okay.
So you get a credit of 60 pizza points on your thing.
I got a lot of points.
You get a credit equivalent to 1 medium 2-topping pizza. 60 points. I went on a streak where I ordered 35 pizzas and didn't pay a dime.
What?
Because they always took more than 2 minutes. I ordered 35 consecutive Domino's pizzas and didn't pay a penny.
How have I never known this?
Then one person brought out the pizza, and I didn't get the next one for free. So I ordered the next pizza. I am now running a new streak. I'm on pizza number 7 right now.
Wow, that is fucking
I got
incredible.
roughly 300.
So for 40
I got roughly $400 of pizza in retail value.
So wait, so
Without paying
40,
for it.
47 pizzas.
No, I did 30. Yeah, including this new streak.
Right.
Yeah.
47 pizzas. You've only paid for one.
2 at the beginning of each streak.
Yeah, the original.
Yeah.
Wow. What a this has got Domino's. If you're out there, this man has broken your fucking code. That is incredible. So what was like the average lag time?
I would say about 15 minutes.
Wow.
15?
Yeah.
So they didn't even start that shit.
But from the time that you place the order, because if it's a takeout order or a delivery order, they're not necessarily starting it the minute you place the order, the way that they would if you place an order at a McDonald's. Because they're like, the thing is different. Here, it goes into a queue, and like, the tracker will tell you, oh, we've received your order. And it might be a minute or two before it says, like, we've begun to prep you. So
it's like Andres is prepping your pizza.
But let me tell you, like, so I would go, and then I started to develop like a little bit of okay, how can I got excited about the streak after I hit like 10. And I was like,
how long has this been going on?
I mean, I didn't eat more than 2 pizzas a week in any given week. So it went on like over a long period of time. Yeah.
Wow, that's a serious streak.
And it also they treat it like if there's a fucking, I don't know, Pizza Points clearinghouse somewhere. So it takes 2 days, 48 hours for your points to clear. So it's not, even if I wanted to, I couldn't order a pizza every day and do this.
They're just hoping that people forget, but Nicholas Jimenez does not forget.
No, so I would go, and sometimes I'd be the only car in the parking lot, and I'd be sitting there waiting. And the first few times, it was like I stayed in my car for a while just to see what would happen. And then I would get out of my car, and I'd go in and I'd get the pizza. And my pizza would be the only one sitting there, like nothing else was happening. It's not like they were swamped and couldn't bring the thing out.
Right.
So yeah, they were just like...
Are they assholes? I mean, are the employees assholes, or are they just being mismanaged?
You get what you deserve.
I don't know. Like, I think that's a management thing.
I mean, yeah. If the pizza's just sitting there dying in the whatever,
but it's incredible.
Do they even have a window?
That
dying.
Nick, out of 49 pizzas, has paid for 2 pizzas.
It's incredibly impressive.
And Domino's needs to use Nick as like an example.
You should be part of their training materials.
I got credit for a free pizza sitting in my account right now. Next time we go to the Pigpen, I'll bring a pizza. I'll bring a thin and crispy.
So much, yeah, thin and crispy Hawaiian all day.
Pigpen is the dubbed name of
the warehouse. Yeah, the Pigpen.
That's a great name.
So that's my Domino's. I think I told you this in a text and you just didn't read it. But
I love how he subtly shits on you. It's fantastic.
And I love, so if you want, if I could search, because I've done this before. I've like sent people screenshots of like, hey, this is where the streak is now. People who've like become more invested. This is the first time I'm talking this publicly about this.
This is so Domino's.
now you need to keep track of it on the Instagram.
I'll sit there in my car and I'm watching the timer go, and there's a 2-minute timer on your phone, and when it hits 0, you get an email that
Credit to the
says
bank.
offering their sincerest pizza apologies.
Pizza apologies? So there was a meeting about that at one point. Like, what do we call the credits? Pizza apologies.
Yeah, I mean,
There was a meeting about that. That's wild. I mean, you're just doing your true American work. That's amazing.
Can I, since we're
Not all heroes wear capes.
I'm gonna go through my top 5 and then I have more questions. So
Yeah, fair.
Taco Bell
Go.
is definitely my number one. I would tell Taco Bell you need to be better or you're gonna lose my top spot.
You already told him that.
Yeah, you need to be better
Yeah.
or you're gonna lose the top spot.
You looking at me?
Yeah.
Taco Bell.
Taco Bell, like, and you know, like I know you don't give a fuck, but I'm just saying, like, you guys have really let me down. Wendy's is definitely number 2.
Wendy's is good.
Hard, like the spicy crispy chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
Definitely a hard number 2.
Fries are good too.
I'm not a fry. The thing is, I'm not a fry person.
Are you fucking serious?
My number 3 strictly is based on fries because it is the only fries that I like,
Oh, okay.
which is Checkers. Checkers fries to me, they fuck super hard, and they're fucking delicious. Straight up. 4 is going to Domino's. I know we have now. There's like very
Well, I mean, we threw it
conflicting
into
evidence
mix.
whether Domino's is
Yeah.
fast food, but
It'd be in my top
I
5
think
too.
like the fast food pizza world is different.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, I think you have to throw it in there if we're talking about that.
Yeah, and number 5 would be Sonic.
Really?
Yeah, Sonic. I really enjoy their shit.
When you say shit, what do you mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's different, right? Like, because I would consider Arbetter's fast food, but it's not like a national fast food chain.
But you can put it in there if you want. So she
You know, I would say, would you consider something that's not national fast food?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So you consider Arbetter's fast food?
But they don't have a drive-through. But near there's Domino's.
Yeah, the drive-through. I mean, McDonald's didn't have a drive-through when
Yeah,
they
it's
started.
weird because, like, I would, if I were to be able to include Arbetter's, I would say that they're number 1, right?
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I love Arbetter's hot dogs and their fucking chili cheese fries. Yeah.
If you encountered that in another city where you didn't have the nostalgia attached to it, where would it be?
Yeah, it's still pretty high, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, with how much I love their stuff.
I will say I have never eaten at Arbetter's.
What? We need to do this. Yeah,
I've had Arbetter's brought to me, but
Yeah,
I've
but it's
never
not the
eaten
same.
at Arbetter's.
Brought to you via like Uber Eats or by a friend?
No, so the last time I had Arbetter's was before the pandemic because we were doing on the Cigar Snob magazine podcast. We did a hot dog eating contest, which was great audio.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds so dreadful.
I mean, it was a good time, like,
You love
there.
it.
No, but I know I love it. I just like I look at like I can eat one hot dog. I'm a kraut and mustard dog. Like that's all I do.
Yeah, look, hot dogs give me a stomach ache, but I'll suffer.
Yeah, glizzies all day.
That's a good shirt.
Yeah, glizzies for life.
all day.
Yeah,
With a little
glizzies
hot
for
dog
life.
diagram.
Yeah, we actually talked about like obviously now like the word is out for the Gibson collabs. We do the chuggies at the end.
Mm-hmm.
For the next one, we're gonna do like an Italian glizzy. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty amazing.
Nice.
Yeah. It's routine that I plan the chuggy before I even plan the meal.
Did it?
Yeah.
What's in the box? That's all that matters.
What's in the box? So after like now that how many times have you come back to Miami since you opened a
lot.
restaurant?
A lot.
A
Since
lot?
I opened the restaurant?
Yeah.
3 times.
What is your association between coming back home, being there? Like, what are your feelings? Is there a connection between the two? Or are you trying to like bring Miami food that way? Or are you just, I don't know. Like for me, the one thing I noticed when I was there, there's a plethora of local produce, which we don't have.
Oh, man.
Right.
That's awesome.
I think we have great local produce here, but we just don't have a lot of it. There's a plethora there in every fucking corner. It shocks me that more restaurants don't make it
It's sad.
part of their culture to do that.
It's really sad.
I agree that it's very sad. The flavors of what we do here, and I think the execution and the extent of what we do here is not reflected in a place like that.
Right.
Do you feel like you want to take that there? Do you feel like you want to, I don't know.
So I would say for me, the biggest thing, I think the saddest thing, and when I originally moved to North Carolina, I lived in Raleigh first, and I worked for Scott Crawford, who's a fucking baller.
Yeah.
I mean, straight up baller. For a short period of time, I worked for Scott Crawford for like 4 months, and that like changed my view on a lot of things. It was a very influential experience for me, and he's very true to his menu is dictated by whatever's in season.
Right.
Like whatever's on his menu is whatever you can get at the farmer's market. His CDC was always going to the farmer's market. That's what we put. That's what we were cooking. So for me, that was the first time I really saw that. I also worked for Andrea Rusing, who was very strict on like almost to a fault sometimes supporting farmers. Like she would we would buy sometimes. That was the first time I was ever in a meeting where we had a conversation about how many cows we were going to kill for a year. I was like, that's cool. So it doesn't come in a box. I don't know how many fucking cows we need for the year. I have no idea, you know? But that was an eye-opening experience for me. But I think, Raleigh does a better job of being more, I guess, agriculture driven in the industry than Charlotte. Charlotte's a bit more commercial. You have a lot of like big money restaurants, highly funded restaurants because it's a huge financial district, right? So it lacks that like chef driven, agriculture driven scene. So for me, my goal would be to shed more light on that, right? So to pay attention to what's growing locally and focus on that and drive my menus based off of that, because it's sad that the agriculture scene is so advanced and the restaurant scene is so behind.
Right.
And like that's the biggest thing for me, because, and I say this confidently, like if not just you, but a lot of the other chef friends that I have in this city had access to the agriculture that I have access to in North Carolina, like the food would be even better here than it already is, which is fucking wild to say, because having access to product like that and not giving it the respect that it deserves is extremely sad. So, not even respect, like not using it is like wild. Like buying your produce from broadliners, from produce companies, and not just like, this is what we're cooking this week because this is what our farmers have. It's fucking wild to me. Because like the hard work is that, truthfully, like people are like, we had like a broccolini dish on the menu. It was literally broccolini with a sauce and breadcrumbs, toasted breadcrumbs. It was bullshit to make. And people were like, it's the best broccolini I ever had. And it's like, cool. That's what. It's cool that that's the best broccolini you've ever had. But like, I did nothing. I made a sauce and it's just good broccolini. So like half of the hard work comes from like what they do out in the fields, what they do out in their day to day, right? So for me, that just drives me nuts on a constant basis, because like we have access to a lot of incredible product that people just don't really care about, which is sad. And that's like a Charlotte thing, because in Raleigh it's very different. Like Raleigh, like the farm scene is like strong.
Well, I mean, I dined in both places. Raleigh there's good food there.
Crawford and Son fucks real hard.
I mean,
there is no
Crawford and Son is definitely a 1-star restaurant.
Oh, without a doubt.
Like, I have very little doubt about it. How do you feel about staff? Let me ask you a question. Do you feel differently about staff now from being part of the staff in comparison to being an owner?
Yes.
Okay. Why?
The staff doesn't feel the way that I feel. The staff doesn't understand things the way that I understand things. Like,
yeah, but they will say that you don't understand what they're going through.
I don't give a fuck about that. Quite honestly, like for me, it's just like they don't understand every aspect of the business the way that I would understand every aspect of the business, because it affects me 100%. It doesn't affect them 100%. For them, it's like their money, how much they're making, what days they work. Can I have this day off? Can I do this? Can I do that? Again, but everyone's always going to care about what they have going on in their life, So, but they're not tied to the restaurant the way that my livelihood is tied to the restaurant. So it's very different. So like dealing with staff now, my perception is completely skewed. It's not the same as what it used to be when I was just part of the staff. I'm not as sympathetic, I guess is the best way to say it. Like for me, like someone comes to me with a problem, I'm like, that's not a fucking problem. Unless if it's an actual issue, which is rare.
Right.
For me, it's like, cool, you make X amount of dollars, you work 3 days a week, get the fuck out of my face. I don't care. So.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think that there's like a growing in that, right? Because like you learn the people, and I say it, the people make the place.
Yeah.
Right? But you find the people that care about the place.
Oh, yeah.
you know, and that takes time, and that takes a lot of effort. That takes a lot of investment on your side, to really like nurture those people and take those people and like have them grow alongside you. And you know, eventually those people will leave. And I think that's kind of like, I won't say that this is now, but it's happened in the last 3 years. Like, you know, this person got another job. What are we going to do? I'm like, well, we're going to have to find someone else. I mean, it's just there is no other answer to that.
It's the only solution.
We're just going to have to find somebody else because, you know, you spend time training people and hopefully they spend time with you and they grow with you and they grow themselves. But maybe you have a glass ceiling that you don't see, but they see, and they want to grow elsewhere, which is okay. And like, it took a while for me to be okay with that. You know, it took a while for me to be like, you know, I support them in their growth and their, you know, taking the shit that we taught them and implementing it somewhere else. You know, it strengthens, like, I really think it does strengthen the city as a whole, which for me is very important, you know?
Right.
And I think that after some time, you're probably going to experience that also in Charlotte, you know?
Yeah.
The more you implement the things that you want to do and the kind of service that you want to have and the kind of food you want to do, it'll be like a weed that grows everywhere. Whether people want to admit it or not is a different story. But it is a weed that grows everywhere. So,
right.
You know, I oftentimes like find that conversation so interesting because when you go from being a staff member to being an owner, your world changes. It's so significantly that it's pretty wild.
Yeah. I don't think you can ever really truly understand what it's like until you're actually there, right? Because like I've been very close, like I worked at Beaker and Gray, and Brian's like a brother, and like I would see him get stressed out about things, and I just couldn't sympathize. You know, I couldn't sympathize at all with it. And then
you can now, can you? Right, you can now.
And like same with you. You know, like I was very close to you during like, I mean, I guess you could call, rough times, you know,
yeah.
Or like scary times is probably a better term. Like scary times for this restaurant and where you were going and all that, you know, where you were driving vans during hurricanes and like staying open no matter what. Like there is a category 4 about to hit and you're like, well, we're staying open until we can't. So, you know, and I saw that. And I remember being here when you were the only person on the line and like seeing all that stuff. And that resonates with me heavily now.
Yeah.
More than ever. And I don't think I could have ever actually like understood what that felt like until I actually stepped into those shoes for the first time, which is now for me. So
those shoes aren't for everyone.
No, they suck sometimes too. Like they're great.
They suck all the time.
I mean, yeah, but there's like great times too, you know, like there's victories, there's a lot of wins, but
I mean, there's big wins and you feel the wins. But like when I remember I once saw a documentary about Vince Lombardi, right? And he was like, you know, he was a winner. Like that motherfucker was just, as a coach, he was like the fucking OG of OGs. And it was talking about like after every game that they would win, he would have these like little parties at his house. And as the party would like go on and the night would get later, you would see his demeanor change. And it would just slowly change. And it would be like, he'd go from like very happy, he would be like almost jovial at a point, and then it would he would become like super dark. And it's because you realize no matter what win you've had, the next day you need to perform. You need to wake up and you need to do your job. Yeah. No matter what. Like the job never, like that's the thing, the job of an owner never ends.
Right.
It never changes, it never ends. The way you wake up, the way you go to sleep, like all that shit is the same. So I remember, man, and I watched that documentary when I was younger, but it stuck with me forever because it was like, I remember when I was working stations as like a line cook, it'd be like, we would have a great service, but then like, as we would be drinking shots, Jameson or Tully or whatever the fuck at like 3 a.m, I'd be saying to myself, tomorrow you got to wake up and do this shit again. And then you have to feel this win again. And now as like an owner, it's pretty similar. It's like, we'd have a great day. We have to wake up tomorrow. We have to do it again. How do we, like, the biggest issue with being an owner is creating a system that it's consistent.
Yeah.
That it's consistent, it's everyday, it's structural, it's like fundamental, and it's just like boom, 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 boom. How do you do that? Getting from point A to point Z in that process is so fucking tough, right? And after a while, it becomes like almost rudimentary and like very just like monotonous. But when it becomes monotonous is the day that you could be like, great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Right.
Oh, we just do all these things every day? Awesome.
Right.
That's great.
Yeah.
At the beginning, you're implementing all those things and you're like, just like forcing like a fucking circle into a square and just like, no, this is the way it's supposed to be. This is the way it's supposed to be. After a while, that circle becomes a circle.
Right.
You know, and it's just like, boom, this is the way it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be this way. And it's like, it's a little daunting, but I say it, the first 36 months, doesn't matter. It could be a great concept. It could be in the perfect location. It could be everywhere and everything, and everyone loves it. But it'll take 36 months to figure it out.
Right.
So you're a month 6. Right?
Yeah, subtle, yeah. Yeah, and I mean, we've come a long way in 6 months, you know, but like, I say this.
Thank you.
You know, and like talking about fears and talking about the initial fears and everything that was going on and all that stuff, like a lot of that has, you know, it's still there.
But what is your relationship with fear?
That was a heavily worded question.
I mean, but it's
about to get shitty when Nick reacts.
Yeah,
that's
I know.
You know when it. Yeah,
but what's your relationship with fear?
I mean, dude, consuming and dominant. You know, like I fucking tattooed myself 2 tattoos recently because of fear. You know, like
right.
I tattooed initials on my wrist that say "This too shall pass" because I have a tendency to fucking freak out over bullshit. You know, over things that don't merit that much of my energy, you know, and like my energy is limited now, right? I'm fat and I've started working out. So like there goes more energy, you know, it's gone.
But
so
it's good.
Like,
but that's good energy.
Yeah, but
I
still,
love that.
It's still depleted, right? So like being able to muster up enough energy, courage to deal with like the day-to-day ins and outs of the operation is like, it's a lot. And some days it's taxing. So yeah, my relationship with fear is that it can consume me at times, you know, like aggressively, especially more so now because a lot of it is like a lot of the things that I've been, I don't know, I guess like conquering on a day-to-day basis are things I've never had to conquer before. Right. So for me, fear of the unknown is prevalent, you know, like I'm not really necessarily scared of things I've had to deal with before, but things I haven't had to deal with, yeah, it's heavy shit. So once I've done it, it's a different story, you know, and like back to like the leak, you know, I'm sitting here and I'm like, my mind races to like, okay, we're going to have to rebuild the entire restaurant and I'm fucked. And like, that's not a logical thought, but that's where my mind goes.
I wish you would have called me.
The voice you said that in was hilarious. You're like, I wish you would have called me.
Right.
It was fantastic.
We still have leaks.
I mean, yeah, you know, and like now it doesn't bother me. It's like the other day the AC kind of like was acting up. I turned it off and I was like, whatever. If I turn it back on and it's fucked, it is what it is. And I call the company and they'll fix it. And it's going to be a bill, but it's a bill and it'll get paid and that's that.
Yeah, you got 30 days.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
You got time.
Yeah.
But, or a credit card. But still.
I mean, and then that adds another 30 days. But listen, I've been through this game 100%.
Yeah.
We're good. Nick, you want something? No, you're good. You know, my association with fear is it is like a master motivator for me.
Yeah.
Like it motivates me every single day because like failure is prevalent. It's real. Like failing forward is like, I tell people all the time, like if you're going to like push and fail, like fail forward, learn from the failure and then build off of that and see what can come of that. And you may fail again and try and try and try, and you're going to fucking nail it eventually. That's just how it is. When you get to a place that you're not comfortable with everything around you, like when you become an owner and everything around you is brand fucking new. Mm-hmm. I remember, man, such an arrogant little fuck I was 7 years ago to be like, yeah, I got this. Like I can run a kitchen. I'm like, yeah, you can. But what about everything else? You know, and when you realize like you have so much to learn, but it's the realization that you have failed to get to this point. Consume like all the information you can, consume everything, learn from people around you, like be a sponge. Don't be an arrogant fuck.
Right.
Because there's so many of those in the world. And like, just like try to build off of the failure and see where it goes. Like, don't be better than the situation. Be the situation. And whatever, if it's a fucking leak, a breaker blows, which is like so common, right? A breaker blows because you put a cooler in a place that wasn't there before. You know, like just like shit like that. Like it's part of the process. Like now I've learned, hey, so we're going to put this cooler here. Just leave it on for like 3 days with nothing in it and see what happens. And they're like, why? I'm like, just trust me. And then after like 24 hours, they're like, chef, you know what turned off? I'm like, yeah. Probably gonna have to change a breaker.
Right.
I didn't know that 7 years ago. You know, and I fucking, man, so many days. Like the fear thing for me when it comes to restaurant ownership is the people who care and the people who don't care.
Right.
The people who think that like, I don't know. I remember I saw a tweet or some shit recently is like, if somebody's restaurant pitch to you is it's like, you're going to get rich quick, then you should probably leave the meeting. Right. And I'm like, yeah, for sure. You should definitely leave the meeting.
Yeah.
The people who care are the ones who care about food, who care about service, who care about cocktails, who care about the whole experience as a whole.
Yeah,
it's
everything.
a romantic like involvement. Like you are emotionally invested. So the fear for me is that now. It's like all the other shit. I've been through the gauntlet of like equipment breaking, leaks, shit, all worldwide pandemic, whatever. Like all that. We've lived through all that shit. Like we've done it all, right? So the fear for me now is you come to dine here and you don't leave saying that this is the best restaurant in Miami, then I have failed you.
Right.
I failed.
I mean, it is the best restaurant in Miami, but it's definitely the best PB&J in Miami.
For sure.
Goddamn.
Like, that's where and like that fear for me still wakes me up like in the middle of the night. Like there are days that I wake up hour on hour. Even post-star, pre-star, whatever. Stars don't matter. That thing, like that fear drives me to the next day.
Right.
And to the next day and the day after and the day after because I think those two type of like restaurateurs, the ones who give a fuck and the ones that are just like, let's get rich.
Right.
Sexy fishes of the world, the Carbones of the world.
Right.
Those people compared to the other ones that are just like, I'm trying to tell you a story. I'm trying to like engage with you.
Express yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, that's the real fear. So I don't know. I think the fear question is important.
Yeah.
And then as you go, like, I mean, 6 months is like super new. It's still super new.
Man, thanks for that.
Yeah. At 12 months, your fears will be different. And at 18 months, your fears will be different. And 24 months, your fears will like be incredibly different. So,
Well, there's also a matter of like, where will we be in, dude, 6 months? Like I tell you 6 months and it doesn't feel like 6 months.
but I
Feels
think
much
the
longer.
overall resounding question from me to you as friends is like, so in 24 months, what is your plan? Like what is it? Where is it that you want to be in 24 months? Like, are you, we're just going to get like real into it here.
I mean,
We're just going to get like
I am
real
not
deep.
surprised.
I'm just,
I can cut this out or whatever, but I know you guys had like a time thing.
just let me go. Let me go with this.
Okay,
one.
cool.
Yeah, let me go with this.
So
So,
the Negronis are flowing now. He's like, Nick, just let me go.
so like at 24 months, is your goal to change the food culture in Charlotte, or is it just,
Absolutely.
or is it just to make money?
No. I mean, look,
Making money is necessary. You're running a business, right?
I mean, I'm living a life. So it's not just about like money matters. Yeah, fact, money matters. And did I take this leap in my career because I mean, money was part of it, right? Because I have goals for like my life. I want to have a kid at some point, all that stuff. You know what I mean? And like money is a necessity in society. So granted, but I also have a lot of pride. So for me, yeah, I mean, changing the restaurant culture in Charlotte would be a huge part of it for me. But that's going to take time. Like that's going to take time. So, I mean, 24 months from now, yeah, I would love to be, no questions asked, the best restaurant in Charlotte. I think right now there's some other players in there that, you know, maybe spend a little bit of money on getting that title, but that's a different conversation for a different day.
What do you mean? Tell me that.
I mean, like pay for play. Like there's some people out there that get some recognition for what they're doing, and I think they're hot trash, and that's that. But, you know. I want to change people's perspective on what good food is, if that makes sense. And what good hospitality is in every aspect.
The pay for play thing. I have opinions on this. Like the pay for play thing, you know, like I talk about Ryan Rotino a lot because he's a good friend. He's also super talented. His team, like I love his team. His team is incredible, super just genuine, whatever. And I remember like when we were on this quest for a star, I dined at Bresca a couple times, and you know, he had a quote on the wall. It was just like, "Be so good they can't ignore you."
Right.
Like we're not a pay for play company. Like,
I would have never guessed.
Right. We're just we're not that, right?
Yeah,
like, but we are that good that people want to dine here, right?
Yeah.
Like people want to come here. They want to like take the photos and do all the things or whatever the fuck. So I said that for like a full calendar year. Like, be so good. Like, there are so many people that have so much more fucking money than we do.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, again, and I'll say them, the Carbones of the world.
Yeah.
You know, like those people, they have like infinite amounts of money. They have restaurants that do, you know, heavy six figure. Like, just you're talking about like 10, 12, $15 million a year, which is amazing. Good for them. Yeah. But like, they're not romantic about their situation anymore. Maybe at one time they were, but they're not anymore. For us, it's about like just being great and be so good that they can't ignore you. So like you need to, that whole thing of like, there's people that do the pay for play, like just fuck them.
Right.
Just be unapologetically yourself.
Yeah.
Unapologetically. Like, don't give a fuck. Don't care. Like, yeah, that's cool. Your crispy Brussels sprouts and your crispy Brussels sprouts and your crispy Brussels sprouts are all the fucking same.
Right.
Good for you. This is what we're going to do.
Right.
You know? It's like, I don't know. And I feel like in the last 24, 36 months or so, like it just like, it's like super heavy inside of me because people open restaurants and they like, they hit that point, right? Like that point that like business may not be there. Like, do I sell out? Do I do this? Do I do that? Do I put short rib with mashed potatoes? Do I not?
Mushy potatoes.
Mushy potatoes. Or do I just keep on doing my thing? It's like, I think if you do your thing and you can stand the test of time, like people will come.
No doubt. I mean, I think the more you express yourself, the more people start to like, I mean, food is feeling, right? Like food is feeling. Like you feel when you eat something good, you feel like your Noche Buena dish, right? So I'm sitting there's the bougiest Noche Buena dish I've ever had in my life yesterday. I mean, by far the bougie.
I mean, we've tried 10 plus times.
I mean, bougie though. Like bougie. But when I tell you that I moved the little perfectly round yuca sexy ball off of the little mound of like mojo onions, and like Christina was sitting next to me, right? And she had the mojo onions, and she's like a mojo freak. Yeah. She had the mojo onions, and she was like, I just don't understand how they make it so nice, but it still tastes like mojo. Yeah. And it's like, and furthermore, my wife sounds nothing like that. Terrible at imitating.
She really doesn't at all.
Sounds nothing like that. But, and that's what it was, right? Like this beautiful plate of food, but like you're eating it and you feel, right? And to me, that's important, you know, and I don't think that's important to a lot of people. I think it resonates with what you said, right? To a lot of people, what's important is the bottom line, how much money they're making. And like, yeah, granted, that matters. It matters because of life. Mm-hmm. But Custom Shop is going to be, and I say going to be because it's not there yet, and I can say that comfortably, but Custom Shop will become an expression of myself. And we're in the process of that phase, and like we're rebranding and we're doing a lot of things that we need to do to get there. But it will be an expression of myself and who I am in every aspect, unapologetically at the same time too. And if people love it, great. And I think a lot of people will love it because I'm not an asshole. I fuck you, and I take pride in what I do, and like I think I like what a lot of other people would like, and I think my expression would be good. But if you don't like it, get the fuck out, and that's fine. You know what I mean? Like I think there's going to be people who are going to like it and who are going to love it, and they're going to come back and they're going to be about it, and then there's going to be people who are going to be like, "This is different."
I prefer the Cumberbatch.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So, but that's where I feel like we stand, today.
So when we did like when we won a star, and I made the team like T-shirts.
Yeah, I have one of those. It's the best.
Oh, that's right. I gave you one of those.
Yeah. It's great.
There was this quote I would say, and it was from a J. Cole thing. It was like, "Are you doing this to get famous? What's more important, getting or letting go?" And I think that like the letting go is like very important because it's like you're letting go of insecurity. You're letting go of like the worry. You're letting go of so many things. Like, fuck everybody else. Fuck what they do. Fuck like I think like the structure of what the restaurant is supposed to be, and make it who you are.
Right.
I don't know if that's what J. Cole meant by that fucking quote. Right. I don't know, but that's what I took from it. Right. And I remember like that song came out like right in the fucking like the depths of COVID.
Yeah.
Right. And I was listening to it walking from Chugg's 1.0 to Ariete. And we were planning this like very weird tasting thing that that I like pushed into like reality. And it just sat with me so much. And I said it before every time we did one of those tastings, because there was shit on those tastings that like I would never do again. And there was a lot of things on those tastings that I was like, man, that shit was fucking good. Like that shit was fucking like, but we pushed ourselves at a moment that the world wasn't pushing. They were settling. And I think that like where you're at, I was only there for what, 4 days?
In Charlotte?
Yeah.
3
days. Like it's just a world of not pushing anything.
Right.
Like they're not pushing a fucking thing.
It's a lot of complacency. And
I get it. Like I lived in Virginia for 4 years. It's not far.
Right.
So like I get the laid back mentality, but it's like, to attack the idea of being not only the best, but being yourself in the process is like, it's so heavy, and it's like, it's daunting, but it's so rewarding at the same time. It's very heavy in the process. So that was good. I thought that was good. I thought we nailed that.
Toots himself. He's like, that was good. Good stuff.
As a podcaster, I think that we're doing all right. So after
there it is.
After like is this?
It's the wife. Yes.
Oh yeah.
That's the wife. You should. She's asking ETA, so you should let her know what you think the effect of ETA is. She's gonna murder me. It's gonna be great.
It's so good.
It's gonna be great. She's gonna hate me. Yeah, it's gonna be fantastic.
Sorry. I think.
Oof. She answered.
Well, that was quick too.
I mean,
it was very fast. Do you feel any culture shock leaving Miami to go to North Carolina? I just want to know, because like I feel culture shock every time I go there.
Imagine my answer is no.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Of course
Some
not.
people like that slowed down pace of life.
It's not even about the pace. It's just, bro, Miami is Miami. Like, Miami is one of a kind in terms of cities in the world. And I've been to a lot of different cities, but like Miami is one of a kind.
What's your password?
Pew, pew, pew. Can you bleep that out? I'm kidding. I'm not that important. You don't need to bleep that out. But yeah, it's just fucking, Miami's very unique. So culture shock was a big deal when we moved. I mean, so Charlotte's a bigger city than Raleigh, right? But when we moved from Miami to Raleigh, that was like, whoa. It's like fucking, I don't know if this is like socially unacceptable, but it's like the fucking boonies. You know what I mean? Like is that socially unacceptable?
Yeah, man, we've done so much worse on here. But
yeah, fantastic, great. I'm happy. I'm not surprised that you've done worse. But anyways,
I would say just I don't know how you think that would be received over there.
Yeah,
I don't care. I mean, it's
all right,
the truth.
I mean,
like,
I promise Miami people don't give a shit that you called them.
I mean, yeah, but like Miami was, Miami's so culturally diverse and special, and then you go to Raleigh, and Raleigh is like very rural, very small city. Like downtown is like 7 buildings and small, and then Charlotte was, a step up from that. Like Charlotte's a large city, there's more going on, it's a financial district, but yeah, I mean, Miami it was big time culture shock leaving Miami to go to Raleigh or Charlotte, and it's just like a huge change. Especially after living here my entire life. You get used to living your life a certain way, and then you get over there and it's wildly different. I am so concerned about what you are typing right now. So concerned about what you are typing.
Me too.
Yo, that's good. That's comforting. Yeah, that's comforting.
He's like in the middle of it. Who knows where this text is going?
Yeah. He's like, yeah, me too.
I got to tell you though,
She knows it's you that's texting.
Yeah, I
right?
just keep on putting everything Mike.
Oh,
Like,
you sign it?
Yeah, I sign
Nice.
it. Yeah, so she knows. She's not mad at you later.
Yeah, she's gonna fucking murder me, but that's fine.
Definitely.
He's still going. This is great. This is not good. This can't be good. Anyways,
I got to tell you though, every time I go to like Virginia, North Carolina, whatever, like the couple days that I was there, I loved it. Like, I really do love the feeling of being there. It's just like, I remember when I was 18 and I moved to Virginia for the first time, like, it was like so slow for me.
it was a long time ago.
Yeah, I was 18.
Yeah,
I mean, it was just like, ooh. That's it.
it's very different.
It just like, it slowed down and it's like, but I do love the feeling of being there. And I do think that there are people there that will accept better and different and like, because there's plenty of people doing like weird shit there.
Yeah,
Maybe not in the food world, but it's cool to be the first. First to market always wins. I'm just saying.
yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, so, I think you have like a very blank canvas to work with.
Yeah,
I cut us off.
that's it. You're like, we're good.
Yeah, no, we have to go somewhere else.
Wind down.
Yeah, I think it's time for the wind down. I think like before the wind down.
Do you just pee in a bag the entire time while you're here? Is that what you do?
What do you mean?
I mean, I have to pee like a racehorse.
You could take a leak. This is a leak break. Do we have music for the leak break?
Hold on. We'll figure this out.
It's just pew, 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 on repeat the whole time. Pew, pew,
Yeah.
pew, pew.
There it is.
Yeah.
Where the fuck is the bathroom? Right there.
Yeah. All right, now for the wind down.
All right, so we'll start with our parting recommendations. This is where everyone.
Just so everyone knows, in 2023, we're going in 2023, right?
Yep.
We're planning to start a series of production bloopers of Pancom Podcast. This was a Andres Kaifer idea of bickering between Mike Beltrán and Nicholas Jimenez.
Oh man. Yeah, we'll from now on, I'll start saving all of those and tucking them away into their own little folder.
Well,
Sponsorship.
a little
money.
tuck under.
Let's go.
That's right. We'll do the wind down though. This is where everybody recommends a thing that people should eat or watch or read or do whatever.
God damn, I didn't prepare for this.
Literally anything. Like the last thing that you did or consumed or read or watched that was like worth doing.
Peanut butter jelly, is that already yet?
It's not a real thing.
Yeah,
man.
I mean,
you
it's gotta
had
be
a
a thing
foie
people can
gras
do.
Make
mosaic.
it a real thing.
No, man.
Make it a real
You
thing.
had a foie gras mosaic that was in a Parker House roll. Thanks
so
to Chef Manny.
God,
Yeah.
so good.
What else?
It's my turn. Oh,
Yeah, I mean, just go on.
my turn. God damn.
You can let Mike go first.
Yeah, Mike goes first. It's
So
fantastic.
things
Love
to
it.
eat, and I've probably said it a million times, and I'll say it again. Hinckley's Fancy Meats. Hinckley's Fancy Meats, like, man, There's no other way to say other than the fact that like it fucks super hard. Man, it's like incredibly delicious. I brought stuff home. It was very good. I ate sandwiches there. Also very good. Like, man, just fucking amazing. Movies or shows? I just recently watched Lego Batman.
No way.
And
You
it was
just recently watched that.
Yeah, I just recently watched Lego Batman, and one of my favorite parts is like every time they were shooting a gun, it was like pew 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 pew. It was like one of the best things ever. And music wise, just because like I do a lot of weird things. Left Lane Cruiser.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, it's
Not
one of my
surprised.
preferred listening on a Sunday music as I work on things, cars and stuff, and
Spend money.
drink heavily. So those are my parting recommendations.
Good stuff. You got anything yet?
I mean, it's a tough follow-up. Music, weird, but popped up on social media, and then I just went deep into Greta Van Fleet.
Oh,
Which is fucking solid.
Okay.
Had never heard of them before, and it's fantastic. Very old schooly vibes, but like fantastic. Shows. I mean, whatever. The entire world is watching it also, but I just started watching Wednesday, and it fucks real hard. It's real.
oh,
good.
does it?
Oh, it's good.
Yeah, I haven't
It's
watched it.
fantastic. Very well done. Very well.
I'm
written. It's
still
good.
like hardcore in Yellowstone.
Never watched Yellowstone.
Oh man, you got to get into it.
I mean, I'm sure I would, but
Yeah, it's great.
Wednesday solid. Well done. Harry Potter-ish vibes, you know.
Of course.
Well done. And it's Tim Burton, which is fantastic. And I mean, if you're in Miami, you should eat at Ariette. It's fantastic. I still can't breathe.
Whatever the chef there is fine.
Yeah, he sucks. Fuck that guy.
Nick?
I'm going to make two recommendations. One, a de-recommendation, and one is a recommendation. I'm recommending people not watch Samaritan on Amazon. It is a straight-to-Amazon movie starring Sylvester Stallone.
What? Sly
Stallone. It was not good. It was not so bad that it's funny how bad it is.
Rocky?
Sucks.
Yeah, it was just like,
See you later,
it
Manny.
was very whatever. So I'm recommending people not do that. The idea seemed kind of cool, but not very well executed. Don't do it. And then I think I've recommended this guy before. I don't know if I've recommended this song, but it felt appropriate for this. G Yamazawa.
Oh, dude.
North Cac.
Yeah, Durham.
North Cac is fucking.
Dude, have you ever heard his song?
No.
You have. I've sent it. He's the guy that does
yeah,
Dining Room.
that's right. He
Dining
did send
Room.
it to me.
The Japanese. Yeah.
But-
Have you heard Dining Room?
Yeah.
About growing up in a restaurant family?
No, but have you heard his song about like Kakalaki barbecue?
Is it North Cac? It's not about barbecue. But
No, it's about barbecue and it hits hard.
I mean, I might have. I've
need to find
heard a bunch of things, but yeah, those are the things that I'm recommending.
That's
So-
wild.
We'll.
I forgot about that guy completely.
I go down a lot of like YouTube rabbit holes, and
I'm not
Shocker.
surprised by that.
I'm shocked.
I ended up on
Personally, I couldn't believe it.
G Yamazawa, but he's good.
It's called North Cac.
That's the song I'm talking about. I know that the song title is a reference to barbecue sauce, but like the song itself is not about barbecue sauce.
No, yeah, and the beat actually goes pretty hard.
It's super good.
I mean,
and,
I thought it was great.
and they did I'm pretty sure they did
His
a.
poetry is actually like outstanding. All joking.
Oh, it's really
I
good.
love poetry.
He's incredibly talented.
I love poetry.
So yeah, that's what I'm recommending. One more.
I love poetry.
Yeah, and I know that they did a remix to that song. It was sort of like when Welcome to Atlanta brought in a bunch of other people.
Right.
They did another one with other North Carolina rappers, but the first one was
the OG
easily
is
the best one.
always the best.
Yeah. Although I was disappointed. I saw PD Pablo's on one of them, but then I don't think that he's actually in the video. I don't know. I guess he just like.
I mean, Pete
emailed.
Pablo is busy.
I'm sure he is, but come on, you know.
I mean, he's waving.
Have you? Okay, so I'll recommend another thing. Have you heard the USA remix of that song?
No.
It is the most hilarious thing that came out of 9/11. Petey Pablo made a patriotic version of that song, and it's all about waving the flag over your head like a helicopter.
Got it.
And the best line is, would somebody please tell Mr. Bin Laden? He got a lot of people looking for him.
We did, apparently.
Yeah.
Man.
You know, well, I mean, P.D. Pablo tried to warn him. So that's those are my extra recommendations. Yeah.
It was strong.
What's the next part now? We do
Shameless plugs.
That's right. Shameless plugs.
Tell everybody where they can find you and your
For
things.
this at all. So, okay, you can.
No, it's just your websites and your Instagram and all that shit.
This is closer than two fists.
Doofus?
Well, we just launched our new website, which is fantastic. The fact that you're making eye contact with me with this while you do this is really strange. But we launched our new website. You can find me in Charlotte, North Carolina, at Customshop. I'm there every day that we're open. So every day that we're
Except
open,
for today and tomorrow.
yeah. I probably shouldn't have said that, but anyways, that's where I'm at. Please come in and eat dinner. And I'm not as famous as Mike or Nick, so you can't find me anywhere else other than that. I mean, you can follow me on social if you want, but it's not very entertaining.
If you want eggplants.
There is a lot of those.
Yeah.
In text exchange with Michael.
Mike?
There it is.
Let's take some calls from the request line. Caller number 1. Hey,
My parting recommendations are all the things.
All the things.
All the things with P.D. Pablo.
We're going to make it so one of these buttons plays all the things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the best part. It's the best part.
That's the best. It is the best part.
You can find us at the Gibson here in 20 minutes.
Yep.
I imagine we're not going to do a lightning round so that you can survive. And
Oh, yeah, because he's
yeah.
he's in trouble.
So no lightning round this
I'm
time.
7 minutes
But,
late. She's gonna kill me.
Thank you for taking time out and for risking your marriage to join us on this thing. Apologies to your wife, whatever her name is, and the
boss.
Yeah,
the boss. Apologies to the boss.
Apologies
the big boss.
to the boss.
And that's it. That's been an episode of.
What's the name of the name of the actual P.D. Pablo song that everyone likes?
The one that we were just talking about?
Yeah.
Raise Up.
Yeah, raise up.
What the fuck is it?
It's if you search raise up.
Shut up.
There it is. Yeah.
Thanks everyone for joining this episode of Pongo Podcast. Here, the North Carolina version. With P.D. Pablo, we have no rights to play this song. But you know what, P.D.? You're welcome.
Check this out.
I love the fist pump the whole time.
I was living in Virginia when this shit happened.